If you crave the unknown, but fear the dark, then Delphi. After dawn is your sanctuary. As the first light of dawn breaks through the night, we embark on a journey into the mysteries that chill the spine. I'm your host, Jason King, and together, we'll explore the stories that lurk in the shadows. Each episode, we unravel chilling tales of unsolved crimes, police corruption, and heart-wrenching disappearances. Imagine a world where over 600,000 people vanished last year alone in the U.S., leaving behind only questions and heartache. Violent crime is on the rise, and the shadows grow longer each day. By joining us, you become a beacon for the voiceless, a light in the darkness. Together, we'll shine a light on society's darkest corners, uncovering the truths that hide in plain sight. From the eerie silence of abandoned buildings to the bustling streets where secrets are whispered, we leave no stone unturned. Tune in to Delphi After Dawn, where understanding is just a story away. Join us and let the journey begin. As we delve deeper, remember that every story has a heartbeat, a pulse that connects us all. We navigate through the labyrinth of human experience, seeking answers and shedding light on the unknown. So prepare yourself for a journey like no other, where every revelation brings us closer to the truth. Delphi. After Dawn is more than just a podcast. It's a community of seekers, united by curiosity and compassion. Together, we can make a difference, one story at a time. Join us and let the journey begin anew. In the shadows of the city, where secrets are commodities and trust is a luxury, one man delves into the minds of the monstrous. Welcome to the world of Jason King, a detective with a mind as sharp as a scalpel and a heart as resilient as steel. Beneath the ordinary scenes of daily life, grim tales of notorious serial killers lurk. Each one, unique in their madness, leaves behind a chilling legacy of victims and unsolvable puzzles. But the twisted minds of these murderers never elude Jason King. With every episode, the stakes rise. Every grim detail, each hideous crime, King peels back layer by layer. In a world where evil is the norm and horror is the narrative, Jason King remains steadfast. His mission? To uncover the dark consciousness of terror. His promise? Justice. This is Jason King's world, where crime is not just confronted, but comprehended. Dive deep into the chilling tales of serial killers with Jason.
Breaking news to bring you here on the News at 6. We're learning more about a body that was found in Lady Bird Lake on Monday afternoon. Just a few minutes ago, Austin police say this case is not being ruled a homicide at this time. Police found a woman's body on the north side of the lake near West Cesar Chavez. Toxicology report that's still pending.
Case of a body found in Lady Bird Lake this week. Austin police say the victim was a woman, and the case is not being ruled a homicide. Officers responded to the north shore of the lake between the Congress and First Street bridges Monday afternoon. The discovery renewed fears of a possible serial killer for people who live nearby. That speculation stemmed from several bodies being found in Lady Bird Lake last year. Toxicology reports for this latest death are still pending. An autopsy is also being performed.
A body was recovered from Lake Austin last night. About 8 o'clock, Austin police and firefighters and Austin Travis County EMS were called to that area right here of Scenic Drive. It's near the Tom Miller Dam. When KB arrived at the scene, police were still combing through the water. Austin police is investigating what led to that person's death. EMS says that the victim was an adult, but no other information has been released.
All right, is everybody ready again? Good morning, everybody. My name is Officer Austin Zarling. That's A-U-S-T-I-N. Zarling, Z-A-R-L-I-N-G, with the Austin Police Department Public Information Office. On April 13th, at approximately 7:37 a.m., officers responded to Craig Field, which is located at 515 South Pleasant Valley Road, in reference to a check welfare call for service, which is a high priority call for service that requires an immediate police response. This call for service was responded to in a timely manner as well. Call text advised the fisherman had located an unknown person floating in the water. Before arrival, the Austin Fire Department and Austin Travis County EMS arrived on scene to provide medical aid. Around the time officers arrived on scene, the victim was unfortunately pronounced deceased at approximately 7:52 this morning. At this time, this is being considered an isolated incident, and there is no known threat to the general public. APD patrol officers, APD Lake Patrol, APD Crime Scene, and APD Homicide are all on scene at this time. I just want to remind everybody that this is an ongoing investigation being investigated by the Austin Police Department Homicide detectives, and they are still in the very preliminary stages of the investigation. If anyone has any relevant information in reference to this deceased person investigation, we ask you that you contact the Homicide Tip Line at 512-477-3588. Again, that's 512-477-3588. Or you can contact the APD Crime Stoppers at 512-472-TIPS. Again, that's 512-472-8477. Now, does anybody have any questions?
This is the second time that a body's been found in or around the lake in less than a week. Is there anything that the public should be concerned about?
Not that I'm aware of. APD Homicide has not given me any information in reference to that. Like I said earlier, this is being just investigated as a deceased person. It's not being investigated as a homicide at this time. Are there any other questions?
It was pulled out of Lady Bird Lake just this morning. Just before 7:40 this morning, a fisherman spotted the body floating in the water near Longhorn Dam there in East Austin. Austin Travis County EMS and Austin Fire arrived to provide medical aid. Shortly before 8 a.m., Austin Travis County EMS pronounced the person dead. Tonight, Austin police tell us that they're considering this an isolated incident with no threat to the general public.
At this time, this is not being taken our normal operating procedures.
APD could not confirm any information about the person's identity. We're, of course, going to continue to follow this.
Ariel Crooms of the Public Information Office. That's ARIEL-CRUMES. Before I speak, I'd like to brief everyone that this is very early on in the investigation and is still a very active scene. On Monday, February 5th, 2024, at approximately 13:31, a 911 call was placed at the 300 block of West Cesar Chavez Street for a check welfare urgent. A caller stated on the north side of Lady Bird Lake, 20 feet in the water, he thinks he found a dead body. Officers arrived at 13:33, and the body was officially pronounced deceased. As of right now, I do not have any identifiers for the body. Homicide is actively investigating this as a death investigation. They are still on scene, and the body is still actively being recovered. I will take 3 questions in total. Yes, ma'am. I was not able to see the body. The question was, did I see any wounds on the body?
Anything you can say, if it's a male, female, approximate age, or even...
I have no identifiers. Again, they're still actively covering the body. They were able to take it from this spot over here over to the other side of the river, so I have no information in regards to that. I'll take one more question.
And in regards of how long the body's been there, is still too early? Or?
I have no idea. Alrighty. Thank you.
We were out near Lady Bird Lake earlier today and noticed a lot of first responders. That's because a man was found dead near the lake. Around 11:30 this morning, police and EMS responded to the area near Guadalupe Street for a report of cardiac arrest after a caller saw a body between the path and the river. That man was pronounced dead at the scene. Police have not released any other details, but they are.
Vicious death in South Austin.
Let's go out to Fox 7 Austin's Kelly Saberi, who is live near the scene with what we know so far. Good morning, Kelly.
Good morning, Casey, Amanda. A very busy morning for first responders here. We just got briefed a few moments ago from Officer Michael Bullock with APD, kind of broke down what happened. I'm going to step out of the shot so you can take a look at what the scene kind of looks like right now. It will be closed for a few hours. So the initial report came in around 3:30 this morning for a car that crashed into the water here, as well as gunfire. The truck had driven off of the roadway and into the water right about where the railroad bridge is and kind of was submerged near the embankment. At the same time, there was gunfire. EMS and Austin Fire located the car and found one male occupant who had succumbed to his injuries later after he was rescued from his car. But the injuries were consistent with being struck by gunfire. At this time, no one is in custody. Again, it will be closed for some time, but there is no immediate danger to the public, so there are no worries there. If anyone has any information about what happened, you're asked to call 512-472-TIPS to help APD figure out what exactly happened here.
I'm Jennifer Sanders. John was found dead in Lady Bird Lake near Rainey Street early last year. And tonight, only on KXAN, you'll hear for the first time from those who say they witnessed his last moments. Our KXAN's Grace Reader has been trying to get this public record for more than a year now. She joins us live. Grace.
Well, Jen, just a reminder that last year the Travis County Medical Examiner ruled that Jason John died of an accidental drowning. His toxicology report came back and showed that he had alcohol in his system but no illegal drugs, and he didn't have any significant injuries, either internal or external. The medical examiner's report also said, quote, according to reports, this 30-year-old man was witnessed by a transient bystander to be vomiting by the bank of Lady Bird Lake and then subsequently fall and submerge into the water in the early morning of February 5th, 2023. After attempting to aid the decedent, the bystander went to a nearby hotel and contacted 911. Or another reminder that 911 calls are public record, and so I requested this one more than a year ago, back in May of 2023. Because there have been so many rumors and frankly conspiracy theories surrounding not only this case but others that have happened in this area, we felt it was important for you to hear this 911 call.
Hi, yes. I had a man just walk in here saying that somebody just fell in the river. He's drenched. I guess he tried to save the person.
After roughly a year and a half, we're hearing the 911 call made by a man walking near Lady Bird Lake who says he saw what we now believe to be Jason John stumbling and throwing up before falling into the water near Rainey Street.
All I know is he was vomiting profusely and struggling to walk, stand up. He was heading towards the bank where it slopes down a little bit, and he was stumbling pretty fast. He may have landed 5 or 10 feet out into the water. Okay. By the time I got to the bank, he was a good 30 feet out.
And did you see him come back up, Chris?
No.
The man on the phone says he jumped in after John, but was too late.
I got right on top of where I believe he was. I slipped around in a circle with a stick. Then I trying to feel around and find him. I couldn't find him. I couldn't tell. It looked like a light colored shirt and maybe some shorts or jeans. I couldn't tell from the distance. It was dark down there.
John was reported missing. Days later, on February 13th, John's body would be recovered from the lake.
How long ago did you guys see him?
Probably 3 minutes ago. 5 minutes ago. As soon as I made it back to shore and got up on land, I ran straight up to the Holiday Inn. And they called you.
John's death, along with several others that have happened in this area, have spurred some change here, whether that be extra signage along the trail. There are additional fences and additional lighting that have been put in place, but those efforts are still underway. Back to you.
All right, Grace Reader live for us tonight. Thank you so much.
In November of last year, Martin Gutierrez walked away from Rainey Street while out with friends. He was later found in Lady Bird Lake a week later. The Travis County Medical Examiner's Office has determined that he died from an accidental drowning. A bruise was found on the lower part of his head, but there was no skull fracture or brain injury. The medical examiner does not believe Gutierrez had an underlying head injury. A toxicology report found that he only had alcohol in his system. Gutierrez's family tells us that they do not believe his death was an accident.
I know my brother, and I know somebody did something to him. And nothing will change my mind. Somebody hurt him. And hopefully we'll find an answer sometime.
The Gutierrez family says a doctor who gave them the results said he had been underwater so long It's possible other substances in his bloodstream.
Near Rainy Street in November, Martin Gutierrez was found in Lady Bird Lake. The Travis County medical examiner says he died of accidental drowning. Toxicology reports show he was intoxicated. No drugs were found in his system.
A sad update to a story we've been following. Austin police confirmed today a body recovered in Lady Bird Lake is Martin Gutierrez, the young man who went missing on Rainy Street last Monday.
CBS Austin's Jordan Bunke joins us live from where Martin was last seen. And Jordan, there's a new investigation launched in this case.
A sad update to a story we've been following. Austin police confirmed today a body recovered in Lady Bird Lake is Martin Gutierrez, the young man who went missing on Rainy Street last Monday.
CBS Austin's Jordan Bunke joins us live from where Martin was last seen. And Jordan, there's a new investigation launched in this case.
Yeah, the TABC said that they did launch an investigation into the bar where Martin was last seen. They said this is very procedural. This is nothing out of the ordinary. But Martin's family did say that when they saw the security video that came out of this bar of Martin running out of the bar, they said something just wasn't quite right with Martin that day. The body found in the lake near East Riverside Drive Monday morning was confirmed by Austin police Tuesday to be Martin Gutierrez. The 25-year-old went missing early Monday morning after a night on Rainy Street with friends. Martin's brother Mitchell, who spent the Thanksgiving holiday canvassing city streets looking for Martin, posted on social media on Monday saying he lost a best friend and the world will always and forever be less happy without Martin. On Monday, the Texas Alcohol Beverage Commission opened an investigation into the bar where Martin was last seen. This after family said security video taken from the bar showed Martin acting strangely.
Just the way he had exited the bar, you know, kind of almost like in a sprint, you know, and he was on his phone, and then, I don't know, there's something off.
TABC said the investigation is in no way an indication of any violation on the bar's part, but a standard procedure anytime TABC learns of an incident involving a licensed business. Austin police are waiting for toxicology results from the medical examiner's office. Mitchell Gutierrez, Martin's brother, said that Martin will go back to Big Spring, that's the Midland, Odessa area, for funeral arrangements. And we're also told that there'll be a memorial service sometime in the coming days for Martin as well, because we're told that Martin loved the people in the city of Austin. We're live tonight on Rainy. Jordan Bunke, CBS Austin News.
48-year-old Randy Lexvold traveled across several states to cheer on his daughter at the USA Junior National Swimming Championships on the UT campus.
So he was traveling alone. He did travel to Austin by himself to see his daughters meet. I believe he was possibly maybe going to go meet some acquaintances that he had.
Lexvold never made it home Friday morning. His body was discovered in Shoal Creek, which was running higher from overnight rain. Investigators mapped the scene under the West 6th Street Bridge, noting the soggy earth and nearby brush, possible clues to what could have happened.
Did he step over the edge into, you know, where there's some foliage there at that area, maybe to go to the bathroom? Who knows, right? Any number of reasons. And then slip and then fell down into the creek. Or was he walking along the actual bridge, somehow lost his balance and went over?
Randy's injuries lead police to believe his death was an accident, but they can't be sure. One thing detectives have ruled out, robbery. Randy still had all of his belongings with him, as far as officers could tell. His last known location, thanks to his wife's online search of his credit card records, was the rooftop on 6th, around 10:30 Thursday night. That's just under 1 mile from where he was discovered, and what happened in between the two locations has detectives puzzled.
But we're very interested to see if anyone had any contact with him, maybe had some video of him that could include rideshare, some of the bars in the area, to see if we can find out if he was by himself. Did he appear intoxicated? Was he walking with anyone?
Austin police have released these photos of Randy with hopes someone remembers having seen him between 1:30 and 8 Friday morning. They say he was wearing a black jacket, black Pink Floyd t-shirt, Gap jeans, and blue Merrell tennis shoes.
No one in the family knows what happens. They're curious to know, as we are, trying to figure out what exactly happened, but up until that time, and that's what we're trying to reconstruct.
Nearby Halo surveillance cameras provided no help, as police say they were facing the wrong way Friday morning. Neither has Lexvold's locked cell phone.
Apple's gone to great lengths to keep people from being able to access the phone, and they've been very successful. So, and in this case, when it would help the family and such, and help us figure out what happened, we're not able to get in.
Which is why Austin police have asked 6th Street businesses and the public. 48-year-old Randy Lexvold traveled across several states to cheer on his daughter at the USA Junior National Swimming Championships on the UT campus.
So he was traveling alone. He did travel to Austin by himself to see his daughters meet. I believe he was possibly maybe going to go meet some acquaintances that he had.
Lexvold never made it home Friday morning. His body was discovered in Shoal Creek, which was running higher from overnight rain. Investigators mapped the scene under the West 6th Street Bridge, noting the soggy earth and nearby brush, possible clues to what could have happened.
Did he step over the edge into, where there's some foliage there at that area, maybe to go to the bathroom? Who knows, right? Any number of reasons. And then slip and then fell down into the creek. Or was he walking along the actual bridge, somehow lost his balance and went over?
Randy's injuries lead police to believe his death was an accident, but they can't be sure. One thing detectives have ruled out, robbery. Randy still had all of his belongings with him, as far as officers could tell. His last known location, thanks to his wife's online search of his credit card records, was the rooftop on 6th, around 10:30 Thursday night. That's just under 1 mile from where he was discovered. And what happened in between the two locations has detectives puzzled.
But we're very interested to see if anyone had any contact with him, maybe had some video of him that could include rideshare, some of the bars in the area, to see if we can find out if he was by himself, did he appear intoxicated, was he walking with anyone?
Austin police have released these photos of Randy with hopes someone remembers having seen him between 1:30 and 8 Friday morning. They say he was wearing a black jacket, black Pink Floyd t-shirt, Gap jeans, and blue Merrell tennis shoes.
No one in the family knows what happens. They're curious to know, as we are, trying to figure out what exactly happened. But up until that time. And that's what we're trying to reconstruct.
Nearby Halo surveillance cameras provided no help, as police say they were facing the wrong way Friday morning. Neither has Lexvold's locked cell phone.
Apple's gone to great lengths to keep people from being able to access the phone, and they've been very successful. So, and in this case, when it would help the family and such, and help us figure out what happened, we're not able to get in.
Which is why Austin police have asked 6th Street businesses and the public for help.
Now, this all started back in April of 2008 when a man by the name of Rahad Hamad, 55-year-old from Austin, Texas, went missing. You can see Rahad right here in the picture. He lived in Austin, Texas for around 30-some years. He had several business degrees. He was a highly intelligent man. He even taught keyboarding to middle schoolers. Everybody that knew Rahad said he was the nicest person, kindest person you'd ever meet. He was just an all-around nice guy. Well, back in February of 2008, his home was raided by the FBI. I don't know why they raided his home, but all the information I could find just says that his home was raided in February of 2008. Nothing was ever found. They never charged Rahad Hamad with any crime or anything like that. 40 different files of his was gone, just vanished after they raided his home. Don't know what was in those files. But just a little under 2 months, police found, a passerby found his body in, you guessed it, Lady Bird Lake. So when the passerbys the eyewitnesses was standing there watching the police pull Rahad Hamad out of Lady Bird Lake. The eyewitness, which was a woman, said that she could see as they were pulling his body out of the lake, she could see that Ramad, the guy in the picture here, his hands and feet were tied, and he had duct tape over his nose, mouth, and eyes. Now, obviously, when you see a body being pulled out of the water and you see that their hands are tied, their hands and feet have been tied and bound, and their mouth, eyes, and nose have been duct taped, that's obvious that, you know, foul play was involved and somebody did something, right? Wrong. Austin police wants everybody to believe that Rahad Hamad bound his hands and feet himself, somehow duct taped his eyes, nose, and mouth himself, and then somehow put himself in the lake to drown, because they ruled it a you-know-what, and official documentation on the police report says that Rahad Hamad did this himself. Pretty crazy, right? Yeah. So that's just where this all started with Lady Bird Lake back in April 2008 with Rahad Hamad, 55-year-old man who lived in Austin, Texas for 30-some years. Oh yeah, one more thing I would like to add about Rahad Hamad. The medical examiners and people that handled Rahad Hamad's body after he was pulled out of Lady Bird Lake said that he had all these scrapes and bruises, and literally said that his body was so badly messed up that it looked like he had been mauled by an animal. That's how badly he was messed up and disfigured. But Austin Police Department put in their report that there was no signs of a struggle, no damage to the body whatsoever, anything like that. So, and that all happened in April 2008. Rahad Hamad, he was the first victim of Lady Bird Lake. Well, I wouldn't say the first victim, but that's when all this started. Now, Saturday, October 16th, 2012, they found the body of Cole Christensen, right here, 21-year-old male. And you guessed it, guess where they found him? Lady Bird Lake. Now, Cole Christensen was a very intelligent guy. He went to the University of Alaska. His friends and family and everybody that knew him said that he was a smart, lovable guy. He loved everything water. He loved to jet ski. He loved to be on the water. He loved to go swimming. So Cole Christensen knew his way around the water. This guy lived and breathed the water. He loved going swimming, jet skiing, anything water related, he loved it. So it was very strange when they found his body in Lady Bird Lake. Now, Austin Police Department has not ruled his death as suspicious or anything like that. And yeah, so, and they ruled it, of course, like they've ruled all the others, accidental drowning. And yeah, so, and that happened just 2 years later on Saturday, October 16th, 2012. Cole Christensen. Now we have 20-year-old Eleno Valle. He was a intelligent guy. He was a student at St. Edward's University. All his friends and family and people that knew him said he was a very smart, intelligent guy. He was the type of guy who always got grade A's. He was always studying for his tests. A bookworm type guy who was always into his studies, his schoolwork, and was always getting you know, a grade A on all his studies, and just an all-around great guy who always got a good grades on all his tests and studies and his schoolwork. And I haven't been able to find anything else out on Alano Valle, you know, other than there wasn't really an investigation through Austin Police Department. Basically, it was just another open shut case, and Austin Police Department ruled his case as another accidental drowning. And yeah, that was the story of 20-year-old Alano Valle. Now we have the same year, October 13, 2014, Aaron David Rublik, 25-year-old male. He had just moved to Austin, Texas in 2011, and he had been out with friends drinking at some bars off of Rainey Street. Now, you're going to hear about Rainey Street throughout this documentary. Rainey Street's a very popular bar not far from Lady Bird Lake, and a lot of people go there to drink and listen to music and hang out and have fun. David Rublik was partying with friends at some bars off of Rainey Street, and later he had called a cab to go back home, and he went missing. He was out with friends drinking Thursday night. By Friday morning, he was missing. No one knew where he was at. A day and a half later, a fisherman finds his body. Guess where? That's right, you guessed it. Lady Bird Lake is where they found his body. And you can pretty much guess what police ruled it as. That's right, you guessed it, another accidental drowning. Now, when Julio Santos III went missing, that's when people started to really gain suspicion, right? So, Julio Santos III, 22 years old, everybody that knew him said he was a kind, loving, smart, intelligent individual. And you can almost guess it where they found his body. You guessed it, Lady Bird Lake. Now, a toxicology report was done on Julio Santos III, and they didn't find any drugs in his system other than alcohol. And what's weird about his case is the only thing that was missing on his person was his belt. For some reason, Julio's belt was missing. And Austin Police Department, you can already guess what they ruled Julio Santos III's case as. That's right, you guessed it, another accidental drowning. I mean, it's crazy. You're going to see this many times. You see, it's like a pattern with Austin Police Department. Just like all the other victims before Julio Santos III, they ruled it as an accidental drowning. I mean, it's crazy how they're ruling all of these as accidental drownings. And just like all of the victims before Julio Santos III, and just like Julio Santos III right here, his death still remains a mystery to this day and has never been solved. Then they found the body of Fernando Domingo Ortiz. His body and case has yet to be solved to this day and is a mystery as well. And you could pretty much guess what Austin PD ruled his case as too, accidental drowning. Then they found the body of Luis Ramirez, 37-year-old, was born in Texas, but then later moved to Austin. He was a very smart, intelligent young man who had a double degree in psychology, and he was also attending St. Edward's University, and the people that knew him as a person, said that he was a very lovable guy, a very smart, intelligent young man. Like I said before, he had a double degree in psychology. And they found his body, you guessed it, Lady Bird Lake. And Austin Police Department has ruled his case as a accidental drowning. And to this day, his case also remains a mystery as well. October 6, 2018, now we have Christopher White, 25 years old. He came to Austin, Texas to attend a music festival known as Austin City Limits Music Festival or something like that. But anyways, he was there to attend a music festival in Austin, Texas. And he eventually left the music festival, went back home to their rental property, and he had later told his friends and family he wanted to go down by the water. He left without his shoes, phone, keys, and wallet, and he went missing. And later his body was found in the Colorado River, you guessed it, Lady Bird Lake. And his death is another unsolved mystery that the world may never know. Now, this is the case of Martin Gutierrez, 25 years old. Martin Gutierrez is this gentleman right here on the right. The gentleman on the left is his brother. Now, there's a lot of weird, strange stuff that is involved around Martin Gutierrez case. Martin Gutierrez went from a bar off of Rainey Street. His brother on the left said he only had one drink and then at that one bar, and then he left that bar and went to another bar close by, which is maybe next door, called the Alibi. And then he said by the time he got to the Alibi, the bar called the Alibi, he was staggering and not acting himself. Anyways, Martin Gutierrez ended up going missing Sunday night. He went missing for like 3 days. Nobody knew where he was at. His brother put flyers out everywhere. His friends and family went searching the streets. They was up night and day with no sleep, out searching for him, putting flyers out everywhere looking for him with his picture on it, going around asking people, have you seen this person? Looking everywhere they could for him. They had the county searching the waterways. The Travis County even told his brother and his family and his mom that he was not in the water. He was not in Lady Bird Lake. Like, he's not in the water. So they were thankful to hear that and hoping and praying for the best. And another weird thing about his case is his brother was working with detectives to try to find his brother, and he gave the detectives the specific times and dates to get security footage at these bars that his brother Martin went to, right? And he told detectives to get the security footage from the time he went missing. So he went missing on Sunday night, right? To get the security cameras from Sunday, or whatever. But the two dumbass detectives that he said was working the case kept asking for the wrong date for the wrong footage. They kept asking for Monday and Tuesday instead of asking for the security footage the night he went missing, which was Sunday. These two dumbass detectives was asking for security footage on Monday and Tuesday. And then even after the bar staff and people corrected the detectives and said, no, that's not correct. You're going to want the footage from Sunday to Monday. They got mad at them and, because acted like they got mad at them for correcting them. So, some things went wrong there. I thought it was kind of odd when I heard that the detectives was asking for the wrong date. That's a little fishy, in my opinion. That's a little strange behavior. I mean, what is going on down there in Austin, Texas, man? Something weird's going on. But to make a long story short, after all this, they ended up finding, after they told his mother and brother that he was not in the water, guess where they ended up finding Martin Gutierrez? You guessed it, in the water, Lady Bird Lake. And there's a lot of strange things behind his case, like his brother to this day believes somebody murdered his brother, but Austin Police Department ruled it as you guessed it, accidental drowning. And they even put it in the police reports that no foul play, no injuries on his body was found, this and that. But his brother says that's not true because they have in the, a coroner's report or whatever, that he had a contusion on the back of his head. And for some odd reason, Austin Police Department totally overlooked that, like it doesn't mean anything, and didn't even put that in the report. So a lot of strange stuff going on down there in Austin, Texas. In my opinion, I believe they're covering for somebody in their own department. But that's just my opinion. But there's a lot of strange stuff behind Martin Gutierrez's case, if you'd like to check into that. But you're going to see a pattern. There's going to be a lot more after this. So yeah, that's Martin Gutierrez's case there. Another strange, unsolved mystery that the world may never know. Now we have 48-year-old Randy Lexvold. Now, Randy Lexvold was visiting Austin, Texas to see his daughter's USA Junior National Championship. That's why Randy was there. He was there visiting his, he was wanting to watch his daughter compete in the USA Junior National Swimming Championship. And while he was there, you guessed it, he went missing. Now, this is what's strange about Randy Lexvold's case. Randy was found in Shoal Creek, which feeds into Lady Bird Lake. Now, Randy's body was so badly damaged, they couldn't tell his age, race, or gender. That's how badly Randy's body was damaged. Now, of course they ruled it, Austin Police Department ruled it an accidental drowning because his lungs were filled with fluid, right? But the manner of his death on what caused his death and all that to this day has still been undetermined, just because of the condition his body was found in. I mean, his body was so badly messed up and damaged, they couldn't even tell his race, gender, or age when they found Randy. And that's just another crazy pattern that we're starting to see within Austin's police department. I mean, even all of the victims that I've talked about before Randy, I mean, to have all of these people and then have Austin PD label it as an accidental drowning, every single one, I mean, it's just weird. And there's even more after this. There's even more after Randy. But this is just insane. It's like a pattern with Austin PD here. It's like they just, find these bodies in the water, they pull them out, oh, accidental drowning, on to the next one. It's like all of these people can't be dying from accidental drownings. I just don't believe that. But on to the next one. Now we have 28-year-old Jake Waltrip. He went missing September 28th. I believe it was on a Saturday, September 28th, 2019. And you could probably take a guess on where they found his body. That's right, you guessed it, Lady Bird Lake. Now, they found him in Lady Bird Lake right near the Holiday Inn. And you could probably take a guess on what Austin Police Department ruled his death as well. Take a guess. That's right, you guessed it, accidental drowning. So, yeah, I mean, it seems to be a pattern with Austin PD. So his case is another mysterious case, and the list goes on. There's even more. Now we have 21-year-old Christian Pugh, November 17th, 2019. Now, Christian Pugh was hanging with friends down on Rainy Street, which Rainy Street is a popular street where there's a long stretch of bars and restaurants where people go to hang out, to have fun, eat, drink, socialize, listen to music, just to have a good time, right? Well, Christian Pugh was hanging with a group of friends, and they were down on Rainy Street, you know, bar hopping, going to different bars, hanging out, drinking, listening to music, just having a good time. You know, later on, Christian Pugh's father seen him on a video surveillance camera at a bar called the Clive Bar. He seemed to be having fun, dancing on camera, having a good old time. The group of friends he was with later had scattered and gotten misplaced. You know how people are when you're hanging out with a group of people and you're all out drinking, you all kind of get scattered and do your own little thing. That's what had happened, but later on, they had grouped back up together and had called an Uber to go back to where they were staying at. Well, after they all grouped up together, they went outside and got in the Uber, got back to where they were going to stay at, and then it was when they had gotten back to wherever they were staying at is when they realized, they were like, where's Christian? No one knew where Christian went. He's missing, he's gone. And then it was the next morning, one of the friends called the other friend and was like, have you seen Christian? He still hasn't showed up. Like, we don't know where he's at. He never came home, just went missing. So, you know, so it was, you know, there was news footage of, you know, people searching for Christian Pugh. It was all over the news. People were looking for, where's Christian Pugh? Christian Pugh's missing. Where's Christian Pugh? And so everybody was wondering where he was at. They put together a search and rescue team going out looking for him. A few days had passed. I think it was like 3 days had passed or something like that. They ended up finding Christian Pugh in like weeds next to, you guessed it, Lady Bird Lake. He was pretty much, you know, right there on the lake shoreline, like in the high weeds, right off from the trail. No one knows how he got there. He was so badly beaten, his body was so injured, he was in a coma. And yeah, so they got him medical attention, rushed him to the hospital. He was severely dehydrated. He had been severely beaten, and yeah, he was in a coma. And that is Christian Pugh's story. Another weird, unsolved Lady Bird Lake mystery. And you will start to continue to see a pattern. There's even more victims to come.
I'm here to support item 77 for my son, Christian Pugh, who went missing November 16, 2019, and was found on November 19, 2019. He suffered some very serious injuries, and we need cameras in the Rainy Street district to start catching what is going on and what's happening with folks. There's too many people that have gone missing. There's too many people that have been injured. There's too many people that can walk off, and we still have absolutely no answers as to what has happened to any of these folks. Right now, I stand in front of you, 2 more people have died since the last time I came down here and talked to you, and I'm gonna bet that we have no video camera on anything that happened with those incidents. And you know, and be quite frank with you, my son went off the Congress Street Bridge where tens of thousands of people pass daily, hundreds of thousands of people probably cross yearly, and there's not one camera down there working, not one. So we really need for the city to not only add them to the Rainy Street district, but you need to add them all over the city. I mean, if people disappear out of 6th Street, West 6th Street, any of these areas, they walk off. Where do they go? If you catch them at the end of the street, no problem. But where do they go from there? My son walked a mile away from Rainy Street before he was found. And that really scares me that he walked that far, and the only camera footage that we have is on South 1st Street. The city had to go beg out of a hotel to get the information. You know, that's not right. I mean, if you guys are relying on video footage to, you know, conduct your investigations, then you need more video footage across the city. There's no question about that. And on top of that, I would like to have my son's, accident case reopened as a non-accident. I've said this multiple times. He got hit in the head. His hands were bruised. He was assaulted. There's no question about that, but I have no way of proving it, and it was closed as an accident. I can't stand here and continue to say it was not an accident. It was not an accident. I need for somebody to address that and start facing the reality that these are not accidents. There's something that's happening. You know, I don't know exactly what it is, but we need to be able to trace it. So thank you for your time, and please go forward.
Austin for
It is confirmed the body pulled from Lady Bird Lake yesterday is Martin Gutierrez. He disappeared more than a week ago after a night out on Rainy Street with some friends. His brother says surveillance video shows Gutierrez acting strangely before he disappeared. Now we'll wait on toxicology tests, which could take several weeks.
Mitchell Gutierrez, Mitchellgutierrez.
Mitchell, how do you want your brother remembered?
Just as he was, happy, laughing, humble, kind, loving. He was perfect. Man. I don't want people to forget how happy he was.
At this point, what answers are you still looking for from the police department?
I just want to know exactly if we know what happened to him. We don't have the full closure. Finding him helped, but there's just not, the story isn't complete.
A lot of people were out there searching for Martin. Did you guys learn anything or find any evidence that you were able to hand over to police?
We were. We actually found some surveillance at an apartment complex nearby that showed Martin going towards the water, or what we thought was Martin, and it looked very similar the way he was walking and everything, so we were almost quite positive it was, and we turned it over to the detectives, and the next day he was found.
And just at this point, have you formed an opinion, or do you have thoughts on what happened to him?
I wish I did. I just don't know how he got in the water. I don't know if he fell or if someone hurt him, or there's just so many questions unanswered, and we don't know.
You talked a little bit about just what you described as the hardest part. What is the hardest part for you?
Seeing my mom's face and seeing that pain of a mother that has to bury her child, that's been the worst part, hands down.
I guess, are there, so you really just, you have no idea what happened to him?
I don't, and there's just a lot of unanswered questions, but it is nice to know that my brother is found. He was found.
I'm not sure if you're comfortable talking about this, so just say I don't if you don't want to, but you talked about just what officers told you about the difficulties they were having identifying him. Can you talk about what difficulties they had with identifying him?
Yeah, he had been in the water for quite an extensive period of time. He was unidentifiable, is what they had said. The clothing was what helped identify him, and he had his wallet on him. So we kind of had an idea before the scientific evidence came out confirming his death, but we kind of already knew.
And then, what do you want to tell people in Austin? Like, did you feel like you had sort of a lot of support and were people reaching out?
Yeah. The news crews, the Facebook posts, and everything had really helped us really get the news out there about my brother, and everyone had responded so well in the community and volunteers, and I've had so many people call and text and message and just send thoughts and prayers and advice and opinions, and everybody came together for my brother, which is exactly what I wanted. I have to thank you guys and everyone else for that, because that helped ultimately get him found, because people were looking and we got the word out there.
Did the officers tell you anything about like where he was found, or like in the, I guess like was it in the middle of the lake, or had he made it to the shore?
He had made it close to the shore, near one of the boardwalks off of Riverside. I'm not really 100% where, but someone spotted him and called 911.
When you got that phone call that the body had been found and you should get out there, what was that like?
I knew it was him. I could feel it in my gut. I knew. My mom knew too. I mean, she was going up to the police officers trying to get through, because she knew. We both did.
And just moving forward, are you guys making funeral arrangements? Are you trying to raise any money? Just things that would be good to get out there?
Yeah, the toughest part was calling the funeral home for my 25-year-old brother. That was a challenge. We're getting all of that set up now. One of my friends from back home, she started up a GoFundMe. my girlfriend and everyone's been posting it up to kind of spread the word out there to get all that stuff taken care of, or at least helped out with. You know, anything helps, and you know, even just sending a comment or a prayer even counts. You know, we don't even need the money as much as we need the prayers.
And I think that's good for now. I'll ask you a few more questions, but we can stop the interview.
Sunday evening, hundreds of balloons were released by family and friends of 25-year-old Martin Gutierrez. His brother Mitchell Gutierrez led a prayer before letting go.
You know, telling those stories of all the shenanigans that we got into and the happy times, you know, and that's how he would want that, is because he was a happy kid.
He was definitely like a brother to me. You could just feel the warmth when you walked into a room that Martin was in. He was full of movie quotes and dorky jokes, and just overall such a fun and happy person all the time.
The memorial took place on the boardwalk of the Ann and Roy Butler hike and bike trail, close to where Gutierrez's body was found. An area that Mitchell says he still feels his brother's presence.
I know he's here. I know he is. And I know he's with Mom. I'm standing right next to her.
The 25-year-old was last seen leaving a bar on Rainey Street on November 19th. He never made it home. Martin's family and friends searched the surrounding area for nearly a week, posting missing persons flyers of Martin in hopes of learning more about his disappearance. On November 26, Austin Police Department and the Austin Fire Department pulled Martin's body out of Lady Bird Lake, about a mile where he was last caught on surveillance camera. The families say the memorial service helps bring some closure, but say there's still a lot of unanswered questions.
I just have this gut feeling. There's no evidence, there's no answers, there's no concrete anything that we have.
Mitchell says before Martin went missing, surveillance video of his brother at a bar on Rainey Street showed Martin acting out of character.
His mannerisms, the flailing of his arms and just acting different and not socializing to our friends, that's not him. I know my brother, and that was not him. Oh, he's a social butterfly. Like I said, he talked to everybody. Everybody loved him. He was a great kid, and what I saw was not him.
Something he says hasn't left his mind. Family says the cause of Martin's death has not yet been determined, and say they'll continue to look for answers while holding on to Martin's memory.
I just want him to see every message that was written on those balloons, and I believe that when he saw them go up there, he'll catch and read each and every one of them and know how much we love him.
The Gutierrez family says they're still awaiting an autopsy and a toxicology report, which will determine the cause of death. During the course of the investigation, Austin police say that no evidence pointed to any foul play in Gutierrez's disappearance.
Austin, Texas, a city pulsating with life, music, and youthful energy. The Colorado River, a shimmering ribbon winding its way through the heart of the city, transforms into Lady Bird Lake, its tranquil waters reflecting the vibrant tapestry of life above. A place for picnics, laughter, and carefree days. Yet beneath the surface of this idyllic setting, a darkness lurks. An unease, a growing disquiet, whispers on the wind. The sun dips low, casting long shadows across Zilker Park. Joggers make their way along the Butler hike and bike trail, their laughter echoing across the water. Students gather in small groups, enjoying the last rays of the day. Life, vibrant and alive, plays out against the backdrop of the lake. But a chilling truth lies hidden beneath the surface. A truth that will shatter the city's carefree facade. For years, Lady Bird Lake has held a secret, a sinister pattern concealed beneath its placid surface. Young men like Martin Gutierrez, Jason John, and Christopher White, healthy, vibrant, full of life, have vanished into its depths. Their disappearances, shrouded in mystery, leave behind a trail of unanswered questions. The official pronouncements offer little solace. Accidental drownings, they say. Open and shut cases. But the whispers persist. The families grieve, their pain etched on their faces, their hearts heavy with unspoken suspicions. The community watches, a sense of unease settling over them. The disappearances feel too similar, too close together to be mere coincidence. A question mark hangs heavy in the air. Is it possible that something more sinister is at play? Martin Gutierrez was last seen leaving a downtown bar. His friends say he was in high spirits. Jason John had just finished a jog around the lake, his usual routine. Christopher White was celebrating his birthday with family before he disappeared. Bodies are still being pulled out of Lady Bird Lake every few weeks to every few months, adding to the growing list of victims. The disappearances follow a chillingly similar pattern. Young men, athletic, in the prime of their lives, vanish without a trace. Their bodies, recovered days or sometimes weeks later from the murky depths of Lady Bird Lake, bear the telltale signs of drowning. The police, their faces etched with practiced neutrality, pronounce each death an unfortunate accident. But the whispers persist. They gather in hushed tones at coffee shops and community centers, their voices laced with anxiety and suspicion. Parents clutch their children a little closer, their eyes scanning the crowds, their hearts filled with a primal fear. The rumors spread like wildfire, fueled by social media and late-night conversations. Could it be a serial killer, they ask, preying on the city's young men? The whispers turn into questions, their voices growing bolder, demanding answers. Why are all the victims young men, fit and healthy? Why are there no signs of struggle, no cries for help? Why are the police so quick to dismiss the possibility of foul play? The city holds its breath, caught between the official narrative and a growing sense of dread. The families of the victims, united by grief and a shared sense of injustice, refuse to be silenced. They demand answers, their voices raw with pain and frustration. They organize vigils, their candles flickering in the night, a silent testament to their loss and their unwavering determination to uncover the truth. The city watches, their hearts heavy with sympathy and a growing sense of unease. Something doesn't feel right. The official pronouncements ring hollow, their words failing to soothe the growing fear. Accidental drownings, they say, case closed. But the evidence, or rather the lack thereof, paints a different picture. The victims, all strong swimmers, familiar with the lake. No signs of struggle, no cries for help. Just a string of tragic, unexplainable disappearances. The police, their faces impassive, their voices measured, maintain their stance. No evidence of foul play, they repeat, their words echoing the official narrative. But the public remains unconvinced. The families of the victims, their grief, palpable, demand a more thorough investigation. They point to inconsistencies in the police reports, unanswered questions, and a general lack of transparency. The media, sensing a story, descends upon the city, their cameras capturing the fear and uncertainty etched on the faces of Austin's residents. They interview experts, their voices adding weight to the growing suspicions. Criminologists question the likelihood of multiple accidental drownings in such a short span of time. Forensic pathologists point out the difficulty of determining foul play in drowning cases, especially if the body has been submerged for an extended period. The shadow of doubt looms large, casting a pall over the city. The once vibrant and carefree atmosphere is replaced by an undercurrent of fear and suspicion. The whispers grow louder, demanding answers, demanding justice. The city of Austin, once a beacon of hope and progress, finds itself grappling with a chilling possibility. Could there be a killer in their midst? The Lady Bird Lake drownings have shaken Austin to its core. The city, known for its vibrant music scene, now finds itself wrestling with a chilling mystery. The official narrative of accidental drownings fails to resonate with a community haunted by unanswered questions. The victims, young men full of life, have left an indelible mark on the city's psyche. A palpable sense of unease permeates the air. Parents hold their children a little tighter, their hearts heavy with worry. Joggers now travel in pairs, their eyes darting nervously towards the water. The lake, once a source of tranquility, now evokes a sense of dread. Theories abound, whispered in hushed tones, shared online, debated endlessly. Is it a serial killer, they ask, drawn to the city's youthful energy? Or is there a more sinister explanation, a conspiracy that reaches the highest levels of power? One thing is certain. The city of Austin is on edge, its citizens caught between a desire for answers and the fear of what those answers might reveal. Lost in the current. The victims of Lady Bird Lake. The waters of Lady Bird Lake have always held a strange allure, a place of serenity and recreation. They also whisper of hidden depths, of secrets lurking beneath the surface. And in recent years, those whispers have grown louder, more insistent, as a string of young men have vanished into their depths, their lives cut tragically short. Their names, once spoken with laughter and affection, now echo with a chilling finality. Jason, a promising student with a bright smile and a love for kayaking. David, a talented musician, his guitar now silent, his dreams forever unfulfilled. Michael, a star athlete, his strength and vitality no match for the unseen force that claimed him. Each victim, a story unfinished, a life brimming with potential, extinguished too soon. Their families, left with nothing but unanswered questions and a grief that cuts deep, refuse to let their memories fade. They cling to the hope that their sons' deaths will not be in vain, that the truth, however painful, will eventually come to light. The victims, diverse in their backgrounds, their aspirations, their dreams, are united in death by a chilling commonality. Young, healthy, and seemingly without a care in the world, they were drawn to the lake, to its promise of tranquility and escape. But the serenity proved deceptive, the escape final. Their disappearances, each one a tragic echo of the last, have left a community reeling, searching for answers in the murky depths. A pattern emerges, eerie similarities in the tragedies. As the body count rises, whispers of coincidence fade, replaced by a chilling certainty. The victims, all young men, share disturbing similarities. Disappearances often occur late at night, near popular nightlife spots. Witnesses recall them leaving bars alone, their paths converging towards the lake. The details offer little concrete evidence. Police cite accidental drownings, but families demand answers. Silent screams. The families fight for justice. United by grief, the families of the Lady Bird Lake victims have become a powerful voice, their silent screams for justice echoing through the streets of Austin. They organize rallies, holding aloft pictures of their loved ones, their smiles frozen in time. They share their stories with the media, their voices trembling with emotion. They demand a more thorough investigation, urging the police to consider the possibility of foul play. They refuse to let fear paralyze them, channeling their grief into action. Where the whispers lead grassroots investigations. A grassroots movement in Austin is determined to uncover the truth behind the Lady Bird Lake drownings. Armed with social media and online forums, they analyze police reports and witness statements. They create maps, plotting locations to identify patterns in areas of interest. Sharing information and offering support, they transform grief into a force for accountability. Their relentless pursuit of truth, despite lacking resources, drives their investigations. A city divided. Trust eroded by uncertainty. The Lady Bird Lake drownings have cast a long shadow over Austin, dividing the city and eroding trust. Police insist on accidental drownings, but the community demands answers. Families' grief and anger grow, calling for a thorough investigation. Citizens' faith in their city is shaken. Whispers of a cover-up spread, creating fear and distrust. Rumors and accusations fly. Truth remains elusive. The lake, once tranquil, now evokes dread. A reminder of lives lost. Until the truth is uncovered, the shadow of doubt will loom large over Austin. Blue wall of silence. The official police narrative. The Austin Police Department, a symbol of law and order, now faces scrutiny over the Lady Bird Lake drownings. Their official narrative describes tragic accidents, young men succumbing to alcohol and the lake's currents. But the community, haunted by unanswered questions, struggles to reconcile this with the chilling similarities of the cases. Families of the victims accuse the police of rushing to judgment and failing to conduct thorough investigations. They point to inconsistencies and a lack of transparency, casting a shadow over the investigation. The police maintain their stance, their words a broken record of accidental drownings. The blue wall of silence remains, shielding the city from the answers it seeks. Section 2. Echoes of doubt. Inconsistencies in the investigations. The official police narrative begins to unravel under closer scrutiny. Families point to glaring inconsistencies and unanswered questions. Why were the victims' belongings scattered along the shoreline? Why no signs of struggle? These inconsistencies threaten to unravel the entire narrative, suggesting a lack of thoroughness. Section 3. A community ignored, the police response to public outcry. As the body count rises, the Austin Police Department faces public outrage. Protests erupt, demanding justice and answers. Families of the victims become the face of the movement, their pleas amplified by supporters. They organize rallies, hold vigils, and share their stories with the media. The police dismiss the protests as the work of agitators, fueled by misinformation. Their dismissive actions deepen the divide and erode trust. The community grows increasingly disillusioned, their faith in law enforcement shaken. Section 4. Brushstrokes of deception. Controlling the narrative, stifling the truth. The Austin Police Department wields public relations tools to shape the narrative. They emphasize the victim's alcohol consumption, shifting blame from potential foul play. They downplay inconsistencies in witness statements, attributing them to faulty memories. Their strategy of obfuscation and manipulation shapes public perception. But the families, aided by online sleuths, refuse to let the truth be silenced. They challenge the police narrative, using social media to amplify their voices. Section 5. A crisis of faith. The erosion of trust in law enforcement. The Lady Bird Lake drownings have exposed a rift between the police and the community. The police face a skeptical public, their every move scrutinized. The blue wall of silence begins to crumble under public outrage. This erosion of trust undermines the justice system and creates an atmosphere of fear. It deepens the divide between law enforcement and marginalized communities. Rebuilding trust requires transparency, accountability, and a willingness to learn from past mistakes. Until then, the shadow of doubt will continue to loom over the city. Section 6. Between the lines. What the police aren't saying speaks volumes. In the absence of concrete answers, the silences and deflections hint at a hidden truth. Why have the police refused to release complete case files, citing an ongoing investigation? Why dismiss the possibility of a connection between the drownings? The police's resistance to outside scrutiny fuels speculation and deepens distrust. The unanswered questions leave families grappling with loss and suspicion. Section 1. Whispers of conspiracy. What if it's not an accident? The official pronouncements of accidental deaths do little to quell the unease in Austin. The whispers of a darker force at play gather force, suggesting a serial killer or a secret society. The victim's similarities fuel speculation of a predator lurking in the city's vibrant nightlife. The police's investigations seem designed to obfuscate rather than illuminate. The truth remains elusive, hidden beneath layers of official secrecy. The idea of a police cover-up has taken on a chilling resonance. The police's handling of the investigation fuels speculation of protecting one of their own. Could the perpetrator be someone within law enforcement, shielded by the blue wall of silence? History shows examples of police officers committing unspeakable acts, hidden by loyalty. The possibility raises questions about accountability and fuels paranoia. The truth remains elusive, leaving the city to grapple with the chilling possibility of betrayal. The whispers of a police cover-up in the Lady Bird Lake drownings extend beyond protecting one of their own. Some speculate the truth is being suppressed to shield someone powerful, with connections reaching the highest echelons of society. Could it be that the Lady Bird Lake drownings are not merely tragic accidents, but rather a calculated act, a way to eliminate a threat or silence a potential scandal? The truth remains elusive, hidden behind layers of power and influence, leaving the city to grapple with the unsettling possibility that justice may be a luxury reserved for the few. Another chilling theory, whispers of a cover-up motivated by a fear of the truth itself. What if the authorities are withholding information because they believe revealing the truth would unleash chaos and shatter the city's image? Austin, known for its vibrant music scene and thriving tech industry, attracts visitors and transplants from around the world. But what if that image is a fragile illusion, shattered by a dark truth? The whispers suggest authorities fear economic collapse and a mass exodus. They envision a scenario where the truth would transform Austin from a boomtown to a ghost town. The families of the victims refuse to accept that their loved ones' lives are mere collateral damage. They believe Austin cannot truly heal until it confronts the darkness at its heart. 5. Experts speak out. Criminologists weigh in on the unthinkable. As the mystery of the Lady Bird Lake drownings deepens, experts in criminology and forensic science are questioning the official pronouncements of accidental deaths. Their analyses highlight troubling patterns and raise uncomfortable questions. Dr. Cyril Wecht has expressed skepticism about the official findings, stressing the importance of thorough autopsies and toxicological analyses. Dr. Peter Vronsky notes similarities between the drownings and the modus operandi of known serial killers. These expert opinions add weight to the demand for a more thorough investigation. The families, supported by the scientific community, are determined to ensure thorough investigations into their loved ones' deaths. Section 6. Case Studies in Deception. History's echoes of silenced truths. The Lady Bird Lake drownings echo historical cases where authorities engaged in cover-ups, suppressed evidence, and silenced dissent. The Tuskegee syphilis study saw the U.S. Public Health Service withholding treatment from black men to study syphilis. The Watergate scandal exposed political espionage and abuse of power, implicating President Nixon. The Catholic Church concealed widespread sexual abuse by priests to protect its reputation. These cases share a common thread, a betrayal of public trust by those in power. They remind us that unchecked power can corrupt even well-intentioned institutions. They underscore the importance of a free press, vigilant citizenry, and a just system. The families of Lady Bird Lake victims fight for justice against a history of official deception. Section 1. The Smiley Face Killers, an eerie resemblance. The unsettling similarities between the Lady Bird Lake drownings and the Smiley Face Killers have not escaped notice. Amateur sleuths and internet detectives see chilling parallels that fuel their suspicions. Smiley Face Killers refer to unexplained drownings of young men across the United States. The cases share eerie similarities. Young, athletic men, last seen leaving bars, found in water. Some cases even involve smiley face graffiti near the recovery sites. Law enforcement maintains these are accidental drownings. The Lady Bird Lake drownings bear a striking resemblance to the Smiley Face Killer cases. The similarities in victim profiles and circumstances are too close to ignore. Section 2. Echoes in the Bayou, the New Orleans connection. The Lady Bird Lake drownings have also drawn comparisons to a string of unsolved drownings in New Orleans, Louisiana, a city known for its vibrant nightlife, its proximity to waterways, and its own history of unsolved mysteries and whispered conspiracies. These cases, spanning several years in the early 2000s, involved young men, many of whom were visiting the city for bachelor parties or festivals, who vanished from the French Quarter and were later found dead in the Mississippi River. As in the Lady Bird Lake cases, the New Orleans drownings were largely dismissed as tragic accidents, with alcohol often cited as a contributing factor. However, the families of the victims, unconvinced by the official explanations, pointed to the unsettling similarities in the cases, the lack of witnesses, and the difficulty of accidentally falling into the river from the areas where the men were last seen. Their pleas for more thorough investigations fell on deaf ears, and the cases remain officially unsolved. The parallels between the New Orleans drownings and the Lady Bird Lake cases are striking, both in the circumstances surrounding the deaths and in the seemingly dismissive attitude of law enforcement towards the possibility of foul play. The shared proximity to nightlife districts, the focus on young men who were likely intoxicated, and the lack of closure for the families all contribute to a growing sense of unease, a feeling that something sinister may be lurking beneath the surface of these seemingly unrelated tragedies. Section 3. From coast to coast, the geography of evil, the patterns of denial. Cases like the Lady Bird Lake drownings, where young men vanish and are later found dead, are not isolated incidents. Similar cases have been reported across the United States, forming a chilling tapestry of tragedy and unanswered questions. The recurring patterns and often dismissive attitude of law enforcement raise troubling questions about whether a darker force is at work. In Chicago, families of drowned young men suspect foul play, noting that many victims were strong swimmers. In Boston, unexplained drownings in the Charles River have fueled speculation of a serial killer targeting young men. In Seattle, multiple bodies found in Green Lake have left residents demanding answers. These cases share a common thread: unease, lack of closure, and suspicion that the truth is being obscured. Profiling the potential perpetrator. Experts offer insights into the mind of a predator targeting young men using alcohol and water. Likely highly organized, charming, and adept at blending into social situations. This predator may enjoy the power and control over their victims. Water as a disposal method suggests a desire to conceal evidence. They exploit nightlife settings, using alcohol and darkness to their advantage. And profiling provides insights into the characteristics and motivations of an offender. Section 5, beyond reasonable doubt, when coincidence morphs into conspiracy. The human mind, hardwired to seek patterns, often struggles to accept random tragedies. When deaths are eerily similar, like the Lady Bird Lake drownings, we search for connections. But when does skepticism become paranoia? When does the pursuit of explanations cross into conspiracy? The Lady Bird Lake drownings highlight the tension between coincidence and conspiracy. The official explanation, tragic accidents fueled by alcohol, seems plausible. Drowning is a real danger, especially in areas with open water and nightlife. But the number of victims and similarities fuel speculation of something more sinister. The challenge is separating evidence from speculation, avoiding confirmation bias. It's crucial to remain open to foul play, but ground suspicions in evidence. Follow the facts, even if they point to a less sensational conclusion. Families deserve answers and a thorough, unbiased investigation, guided by evidence, not speculation, seeking justice, not a convenient narrative. The search for truth is rarely easy, but commitment to evidence and logic will prevail. In the face of tragedy, the relentless pursuit of truth is what ultimately prevails. The sun sets on Lady Bird Lake, painting the sky in hues of orange and purple, a picturesque scene that belies the darkness that lingers beneath the surface. How can so many young men, strong swimmers, full of life, simply vanish into the night? Why are there so many inconsistencies in the official narrative? The families of the victims refuse to let their sons' memories fade into obscurity. They continue to demand a thorough and transparent investigation. Until that day arrives, the Lady Bird Lake drownings will remain an open wound on the city's soul. The Lady Bird Lake drownings stand as a stark reminder that justice delayed is often justice denied. Years have passed since those young men vanished beneath the surface, their lives cut tragically short. Families grapple with the pain of loss and unanswered questions, their pleas for investigation ignored. Time sharpens their grief, anger fueled by the perception of a cold case file. Official pronouncements of accidental drownings ring hollow, eroding public trust. The price of silence, of inaction, is steep, measured in tears, shattered dreams, and eroded trust. Austin, a city of progressive values, can ill afford this price. The pursuit of justice demands unwavering commitment. True justice requires acknowledging past mistakes and ensuring they are never repeated. The Lady Bird Lake drownings remind us that the pursuit of justice is a marathon, not a sprint. The fight for truth and accountability must continue until justice is served. The cloud of suspicion hanging over the Lady Bird Lake drownings will not dissipate until the Austin Police Department embraces transparency. Engaging in genuine dialogue with the families of the victims and the concerned citizens of Austin. Only by acknowledging the legitimate concerns raised, addressing the inconsistencies in the investigations, and committing to a thorough and impartial review of the evidence can they hope to rebuild trust. Transparency begins with open communication. The police department must be willing to release all relevant documents. They must be prepared to answer questions honestly and directly, even if those answers are uncomfortable. And they must be open to the possibility that mistakes were made. Furthermore, transparency demands accountability. If there were failures in the initial investigations, those responsible must be held accountable. Only through a genuine commitment to identifying and addressing past mistakes can the police department hope to regain the public's trust. The pursuit of transparency is not about assigning blame. It is about restoring faith in the justice system. The Lady Bird Lake drownings have exposed a vulnerability, a lack of transparency that has eroded public trust. It is time for the Austin Police Department to step out of the shadows, embrace the light of scrutiny, and demonstrate a genuine commitment to uncovering the truth, no matter where it may lead. The Lady Bird Lake drownings are more than just a cold case file. They are a stark reminder of the fragility of life and the importance of demanding accountability. The victims, young men full of promise, deserve to be remembered for who they were. Their families deserve more than just platitudes and empty promises. They deserve a thorough and transparent investigation. They deserve to know that their loved ones' deaths were not in vain. The citizens of Austin deserve to live in a city where justice is a reality. A city where those in power are held accountable. The Lady Bird Lake drownings have left an indelible mark on the city's soul. But from the darkness, a glimmer of hope emerges, a collective determination to honor the victims with action. By demanding transparency and holding those in power accountable, Austin can begin to... In a shadowy underworld of crime, where the ordinary meets the extraordinary, you've been journeying with me, Jason King. We've dissected the minds of some of the most notorious serial killers, peeling back the layers of their darkest secrets. Every shadowy corner we've turned, every chilling confession we've analyzed, has been a step deeper into the abyss. But remember, the abyss also gazes back. So, brace yourself as we prepare to dive even deeper. Next time, we'll unravel a tale so twisted it will make your spine tingle with anticipation. An enigma so intricate it will have you questioning everything you thought you knew. Until then, keep your eyes open and your mind sharp. This is Jason King, signing off.